Good morning and welcome to Little by Little, a short time in God's Word. As we continue looking at the days of the Holy Week, Wednesday is kind of a slow day. It's kind of almost a rest day, if you will. It's where it seems like Jesus just stayed in Bethany with his friends and just hanging out, enjoying the time before the last kind of push towards the cross, if you will. A lot has gone on from Sunday to Tuesday, and so it's a deserved kind of take a break day. But there is an interesting event that does happen, we think, on Wednesday, or at least it's the event we're going to talk about today. It's found in Matthew chapter 26, verses 14 through 16. We read, "Then one of the 12, whose name was Judas Iscariot, went to the chief priests and said, 'What will you give me if I deliver him over to you?' And they paid him 30 pieces of silver. And from that moment, he sought an opportunity to betray him." What do we know about Judas? Well, we know that in every list of the disciples, he's always listed last, and commonly as the one who betrays. We know he's from, this word Iscariot is a spin-off of Kirioth, because Iscariot's not really found in any of the language there. And so it's more this idea taken from the word Kirioth, which was a small village on the southwest territory of Judea, about 15 miles south of Hebron. This territory was occupied by the Edomites, and they descended from Esau, who took wives from the line of Ishmael, and Ishmael, as we know, is the son of the flesh, and who are not of the children of God. Interesting thought. The other 11 disciples were all from the Galilean region, therefore from the tribe of Benjamin primarily, sons of promise, according to Romans chapter 9. Galilee is the region of the northern kingdom, or Israel. And you say, well, what's the deal with that? Well, Jesus was sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel, according to Matthew chapter 10 and Matthew chapter 18. Israel had been lost, the kingdom fell, more than 7 centuries prior to this moment in time, and it never really had been restored. Judah, the southern kingdom, also had fallen and was judged by God and sent into captivity into Babylon, but then brought back 70 years later. So, interesting there. What do we know about his character? Well, John chapter 12, verse 8 says about him, this he said, not that he cared for the poor, but because he was a thief. And he had the money box, and he used to take what was put in it. So he was a thief. Luke chapter 6, verse 16, talking about Judas Iscariot, which also was the traitor. Being labeled a traitor doesn't speak of what he did primarily, but rather who he was. It reveals the wickedness of his heart. The word is used one other time in reference to evil people in the end times in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 4. He's also identified in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, in a reference to the Antichrist. John ties Judas to him in John 17:12 as the son of perdition, the same term used in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. The idea of betrayal, or to give over, is to deliver treacherously. That's all of what we know of who Judas is. We know then, of course, that he goes out and weeps bitterly and hangs himself. And it says he goes to his own place. And so lots of debate about what that meant and what that means, but nothing good that we can tell. So what do we take away from this, right? Jesus is resting, Judas is plotting. Satan's always at work. Just because you're not advancing, you're not doing something great that particular moment, that particular day, the devil doesn't take days off. And so he's looking for ways, especially for those who are on mission for God and doing the things that are right and righteous. He's looking to undercut, to bring in and destroy. It shows us that though he was with Jesus, he was not necessarily one of the disciples. And that's another can of worms we'll be getting into in 1 John in a few weeks. But keep your eyes on Jesus today as you reflect on all that he's done, all that he's doing in and for your life? And then in reference to this Holy Week, as we think about Jesus just hanging out with friends on this Wednesday. Till next time, on Little by Little.